Hello. Now we'll see the most important agency of erosion, that is landscape formation. Running water, river. When running water is concentrated in small channels, they are called streams. The slope of a stream channel lessens in its journey to plains. The speed is reduced because of the great amount of material added to it, and it is increased as and when the volume of water increases. This is how it travels. Initially, in its mountain course, a stream flows rapidly, carry little sediments. As and when it starts flowing in the course of its passage, it collects more and more of rock fragments. That is because it is eroding through its journey. As and when it flows, it erodes and carries the fragments from the sides of the mountain and from the bottom. So the speed of erosion is more. This is the upper course of the river. This is referred as a young stage of a river. The sand, silt and pebbles are carried within the stream water in solution or suspension. The stones from the rocks and boulders are rolled along the bed of the stream. So as it flows, what happens? It gets collected along the bed of the stream. The particles get smoothened and rounded as they strike against each other and against sides and bottom of the river valley. That is why we find, if we visit mountains, we find different sizes of pebbles along the river sides. On both the sides of the river we find this. So this is happening because of the erosive work of the stream. The amount of material that a stream can carry is called loads, because the mountain here, the rocks are eroded and the particles, the fragments are carried away. That is called load. The added load of the debris starts depositing in floodplain, that is in the middle course, and in delta region in the lower course. So river is engaged in the work of erosion, transportation and deposition. So it erodes more in the upper course. When it comes down the mountain, it erodes more. The erosion is the dominant work of the river in upper course. Then it enters the plain, it deposits there, and it finally, when it flows into the sea, the speed becomes low. So in the third stage of the river, that is upper, middle, lower. In the lower course you find delta, and there you find deposition. So river is engaged in the work of erosion, transportation and deposition. It erodes in the upper course, that is from the mountains, and it transports the materials and deposits them wherever they flow, mainly in the middle course, in the plain. Then that is erosion, transportation and deposition. So now we are seeing the first stage here, the upper course. So the erosion and the transportation depends upon the energy of a stream. That means the volume of water and speed. They only make whether the erosion is more or less, the transportation is more or less. So the running water by itself has little erosive action. The double work of corrosion or degradation, that is carried away, taking away the material. By mechanical means and corrosion or chemical weathering of solid rock, supply the load or the cutting tools for erosion. So here you find naturally they are weathered and carried away by the river, and mechanically also the change is happening. The corrosive work is dependent upon the sediment load which a river current drags along with it. So when there is a river current, that is the flowing water carries, that is what it is referred as a running water. It carries the sediments. The slower the corrosive work depends upon the volume and composition of water and the nature of rock. That is what the content of the rock decides that. The eroded rock material helps the running water in deepening or vertical down cutting into the bed of channel, lengthening as well as the widening of a river valley. So the sediments carried by the river decide that. The transporting power of running water increases by 64 times if the speed of water is doubled. So imagine how much the river carries from the upper course, from the mountains. A swift mountain stream can transport much more than a river in plains, having a large volume of water but flowing at a slow speed. A stream can carry a much larger load of the fine material than that of the coarse type. So the distance up to which the eroded material is carried depends upon the size and weight of the fragments. During flood, the amount of rock debris carried by river is naturally large. So large, heavy boulders found stuck up or along the river or moved during seasonal floods. Every year we come across this. Thus, in a certain part of the year, a river is less active, while at other times it is a vigorous agent of erosion and transportation. So if you take rivers Kosi and Brahmaputra, they are Himalayan rivers. They have not only caused great destruction during floods in North Bihar and Assam, but brought about greater sufferings by frequently changes, because very often they are affected by more water, that is floods. So the consequences are very bad. A fall in transporting power, either by decrease in velocity or volume of water or by an increase in load of a stream, leads to dropping of the material it carries. So much of the sediments is left deposited as the sites at sheltered places and at its mouth, that is delta. The upper or the mountain course begins at the source of the river in hills or the mountain areas. The river tumbles down the steep slopes, and as a result its velocity and transporting power are at its maximum. So the vertical down cutting into its own channel gives up deep, narrow and sides so steep that gorges are formed. So you find a river, a stream cutting the land, erodes land as and when it moves down. So there you find it looks like a crack in the land. So you find there is a crack. It will be like this, a river flowing and it's cutting. So the land on both the sides, it gets split, and you find there is a erosion, error taking place here, and the river flows down. So this kind of valley, I-shaped valley is formed. This is called the river flows here at the bottom of this valley. So that is called gorge. So this kind of gorges we can see in Himalayan mountains. Rivers like Satluj, Indus and Brahmaputra, they cut This way, through the high mountain ranges, they formed many gorges. In arid areas of little rainfall, the valley sides failed to be widened at all, and the river cuts deeper only in its floor. So this results in the formation of canyons. The larger gorges or deepest gorges is called canyon. So the most famous canyon is Grand Canyon of River Colorado in United States of America. There you find, so this valley is much wider. The gorges, when it is much deeper side, you find it will be like this. So here you find the water moves. So you will have the slopes of the mountain will be like this. So this is called canyon. The gorges are developed in highly porous and permeable rocks because they allow the water to seep through. The rainwater seeps into the ground, leveling little scope for valley widening at the top. So in areas with heavy rainfall and non-resistant rocks, the weathering and the stream action combine in widening the valley. So in this part of the river's course, the process of headward erosion also lengthens the valley by cutting back into source region. Some of the Himalayan rivers like Sutlej, Kosi, they have shifted their courses on Tibetan side across the Himalayas through this process. River Kaveri in South India shifted its source further westwards in Western Ghats. Next we see rapids, waterfalls. They are also found in upper course. The reason for the rapid formation of rapids and waterfall, occurrence of hard rock and soft rock. So here you find a gentle flow of the stream. So this is the rapid. There you don't find much erosion. So the slope will be not steep. So you find the river flowing down, that is rapids. Wherever you find soft rock is eroded more, here hard rock, so there is no erosion takes place. The river flows down. Wherever there is a soft rock, it erodes and you find the cave formation and the river falls down. It flows down swiftly here, that is called waterfall, and here the water gets, and this here you find a depression formed because of the erosion. So that is called plunge pool, and this is called cave formation. When small rivers tumble down almost vertically from a height along its course, these are called waterfalls. Say a bar of resistant rock lying across a river valley leads to the formation of waterfall. Now you can example Niagara Falls, Jog Falls in India. And in glaciated areas at points where tributary stream joins the main stream, so there will be a valley formed by the tributary. So what happens when the tributary joins the main river? This valley is left, and here the stream, the tributary joining the main river. So it will be like flowing down, and this valley is left. That is why it is called hanging valley. So here you find the falls because this is a tributary joining the main river, and here the valley is formed. The erosive action has been made by this tributary. So this valley is called hanging valley, because the river here flows, it joins the main river and it continues. Then you find U-shaped valleys and V-shaped valleys. V-shaped valley, normally you find, we have seen I-shaped valley. Then V-shaped valleys. V-shaped valleys are steep slopes on both the sides and narrow. Narrow valley is, the bottom of the valley is narrow. Then that is called V-shape. In some places the V-shape turns into U-shape because of continuous erosion. So here you find the deposits get collected and river flows through that, cutting the slopes of the mountain. So you find it will be gentle slope, and here you find a land formation that is called U-shaped valley. So these are the landforms we find in the upper course of the river. Then after this, the river enters the plain. It deposits the sediments and makes the land level. That is called plain. We'll see in the next video.